think we're ready to go.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to Sarasota High School this morning. My name is David Jones, and I have the amazing privilege of serving as the principal here at Sarasota High School. We are incredibly proud of what the teachers and students accomplish here, so needless to say, it is a wonderful honor to have the governor and the lieutenant governor and so many dignitaries here. My understanding is the governor has a big announcement, something special today that we all get to partake and witness in. So it's my honor right now to introduce to you our very own Lieutenant Governor Nunez.
Here.
Thank you. Good morning. It's such a privilege to be here at Sarasota High School, home of the Sailors. We're thrilled to be here with our legislative partners, so many champions behind me, people that are willing to step out and really look forward to protecting our children and Floridians throughout the entire state of Florida. So it is my honor to introduce someone that has literally been tearing the state up by storm. He has been not only addressing the issues that we all understand are critically important to the well-being of our citizenry, but he's also being bold and something that he challenged each and every one of us to be. And I think he has absolutely not only been bold, but he has been incredible leading this state that we all love so much. So it is my honor to introduce the governor of the great state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. I want to thank Sarasota High School for hosting us. Really appreciate it. In a few minutes, I'll be signing the bill about texting while driving. We're going to prohibit it, make it a primary offense, and also have restrictions for distracted driving in sensitive areas like school zones. And I think it's something that is appropriate. I think it'll make our roads safer. And I look forward to doing that. You know, one of the things, the best things about getting elected governor was right afterwards, I got rid of text messaging and email entirely. Let me tell you, your life is much easier when you don't always on that thing. And so I'm not in a position to do that anymore, but I do realize that when folks are doing that behind the wheel, you can see people really lose control of the vehicle. I've seen it on the road, and we don't want to put people at risk. And studies, people have looked at this, because text messaging 15 years ago, people didn't do it. Then it became something that people started to do. Now it's like so ubiquitous. But studies have shown that texting while driving is one of the worst of all driver distractions. And a recent study ranked Florida the second worst state for distracted driving. There are almost 50,000, in 2016, almost 50,000 crashes in Florida involving distracted driving. That's about 5 crashes every hour. These distracted driving crashes accounted for more than 3,500 serious injuries and 233 deaths. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, sending or receiving a text message takes a driver's eye off the road for an average of 5 seconds, which at 55 miles an hour is the equivalent of driving the length of a football field with your eyes closed. So in order to make Florida roads safer, this bill addresses the use of these wireless devices, and it really does 2 things. One is starting July 1st, law enforcement will be able to pull people over and issue a citation as a primary offense if you're texting while you're driving. The other component of the bill is it prohibits handheld use of wireless devices, which can be cell phones, but also tablets and some of these other things that are out there, if you're operating a motor vehicle in a designated school crossing, school zone, or work zone area. So, unfortunately, I wish I could prevent every accident, but it's my hope that by taking action to address distracted drivers today, that we will be able to make our roads safer and hopefully prevent some of these crashes that we've seen, injuries, and unfortunately some of the deaths that we've seen. Now, I want to first thank all the members of the legislature who came today. We have 2 people who really worked hard on this. Representative Jackie Toledo, who was working very hard this session for it in the House, and then Senator Simpson in the Senate really worked hard in the Senate, and this was something that means an awful lot to both of them. So I want to give them an opportunity to come up and talk about the legislation. So Senator Simpson.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what I'd like to add to that is, first of all, this governor, by signing this bill today, is showing great leadership in this area for all of our drivers on the roads. And when we were doing the bill, we said this is like the seatbelt bill of the 80s. Well, I grew up starting to drive actually in the very early 80s, and we had to start wearing seatbelts. And back then we thought, why are we having to wear seatbelts? Why is the government intruding in our lives? And as we know today, no one would get in a vehicle without putting their children and themselves in a seatbelt. It's second nature. And so what we hope on this bill is that within a few years, it will be second nature so that people will know not to grab their cell phone when they're in their car. We have such technology today with Bluetooth devices and things that it's not necessary. And so we're hoping this is going to save a tremendous amount of lives. We appreciate this governor's work on this bill and helping us shepherd this through the process. He's been such a great leader on all things in Florida, as we know here with the environment, the education issues we've had. And this is one more of those areas where he's been able to lead us to what I believe is going to save many lives and many families in the future. And so we cannot do this just with the Senate and the governor. We had to have a great representative in the House get this across the line for us. And so it's my honor now to introduce Representative Toledo and her great work.
Good morning, and thank you, Governor DeSantis and Senator Simpson and all the co-sponsors. We had over 60 co-sponsors in the House. And thank you all for being here today. Today is a wonderful, miraculous day. I came to Tallahassee to bring a mother's perspective because I wanted to make sure that our children's safety and our family's safety was our #1 priority. But this journey began long before all of us, and all the hard work and dedication is what brought us here today. This law is about saving lives and making our roads safe. Governor, your signature today will impact all Floridians, every visitor, and especially everyone here today. Students, parents, construction workers, law enforcement. This law will protect you. Texting and driving has become an epidemic. We all see it, and frankly, we've all done it. People weaving, not paying attention, driving too fast or too slow, running into one another. Using cell phones causes 1.6 million crashes per year. That's 1 in every 4 crashes occur because of texting and driving. 1 of every 4. I'm a mother of 5, and today I brought my daughters, Julia and Jocelyn, with me today to witness that the sacrifices that we all make are worthwhile if we can save lives. There have been so many families impacted by this senseless act that could have been prevented. I want to specifically thank the families that came and testified. They had the courage to speak and the courage to fight. The families of Dory Schlossberg, Logan Scherer, Patrick Wanikoff, Anthony Bronca, Alessandra Agello, Aaron Haley. Their stories have inspired me to keep on fighting and to never give up. Today is proof that persistence and perseverance pay off. Today we honor those families that have lost loved ones. And today we change behavior and we send a clear message that distracted driving will not be tolerated. At this time, I want to introduce Sheriff Wells of the Manatee County Sheriff's Department. I had the pleasure of working with law enforcement and get their great support of this bill. Sheriff?
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being here. On behalf of the Florida Sheriff Association, we want to commend Senator Simpson and Representative Toledo for their hard work on this bill. We also want to thank Governor DeSantis for his leadership. This is a very important day for law enforcement. As you know, Florida is one of only 5 states that required a traffic stop for texting while driving to be a secondary offense. That really hurt law enforcement. It is very difficult to do, almost impossible for law enforcement to enforce texting while driving as a secondary offense. We know of the dangers. We know that Florida is growing and the roads are populated, and because of texting and driving, thousands of injuries and deaths are occurring each and every year in the state of Florida. Making texting while driving as a primary offense will allow law enforcement to enforce the law and to save a lot of lives. It's critical, parents, that we continue to communicate with our teenagers and ask them, show them, by doing it ourselves, how important it is to put the phone down and to pay attention to the roadways when we're out there driving in our communities. We really are blessed to have such dedicated legislators that really care about the citizens of the state of Florida. God bless you. Thank you so much. It is my honor to introduce to you from the city of Bradenton, Chief Melanie Bevan.
Good morning. I am Melanie Bevan, Chief of the Bradenton Police Department, and I am honored to be here today representing the Florida Police Chiefs Association and its many members from throughout the state. I'm thrilled to stand in support of the governor with other dignitaries, our law enforcement partners, all the students behind me here today, and the other elected officials in the signing of House Bill 107. The issue of distracted driving was the Florida Police Chiefs Association's top legislative priority for the 2019 session, as we recognized the life-saving potential of it. Obviously, it was equally important to our lawmakers, and by Governor DeSantis signing this bill today, countless innocent lives will be saved. The association applauds you, Governor, as well as the Florida legislature, for working together to help law enforcement better protect the communities we serve, and to ensure drivers keep both hands on the wheel and their eyes on the road, not only because they should, because now it's the law. Thank you as well to bill sponsor Senator Simpson and Representative Toledo for their hard work and their commitment to public safety. Again, the Florida Police Chiefs Association thanks you today for this opportunity to stand united with you all.
All right, well, we're going to proceed over to the table, and we're going to make this official. Be on our way. So. Well, thanks everyone for coming. I think this is going to be this important legislation. I think it'll make the road safer, and I'm happy to have signed it into law. I'm happy to take some questions from the press.
Governor, can you just say, have you learned anything more about the migrants that are going to Palm Beach and Broward counties? And can you give your thoughts on the Trump administration not giving anybody a heads up on that?
Well, yeah, so I mean, I have investigated, and I think that there's a reason why that was the case. I mean, look, we cannot accommodate in Florida just dumping unlawful migrants into our state. I think it'll tax our resources, the schools, the healthcare, law enforcement, state agencies. You know, we just, the legislature, at my urging, you know, passed a bill outlawing sanctuary cities. And so we basically, as a state, said, you know, we are going to work with the federal government constructively. We're going to work with them to help them, you know, remove criminal aliens. We're not going to be like some of these other states that are not allowing, federal authorities to come into a jail or a courthouse. So we've been very cooperative, and I think to have this then put into certain communities here, I think it's just something that we don't. So I am going to be addressing this. This was something that leaked out yesterday. I've had conversations, but we're going to have to do some more on this for sure. I have no reason to think it was, but I don't have enough information about it. As I said, this was not something that came down from the White House. This was something that came out of the agencies. And sometimes this stuff happens, and so it's going to ultimately be something I'm going to have to talk with the president about. And I don't think that this should happen in Florida, but understand that you're seeing at the border. That is a disaster created by the policies enacted by the Congress of the United States. This is a direct result of bad policy that's been implemented. I think that they should change the policy so that we're not in a situation where we're having to do this in the future. And I think that would go a long way. So we'll, we're going to obviously do work on this.
Is federal government paying for them housing down here?
So, well, so this is, first of all, nothing's concrete. There's been no migrants released in Florida from this whole problem. Not one migrant has been, according to the White House, what we talked to yesterday. So I just want to let people know that. I think if you believe what was leaked and reported, the plan would be to simply put migrants out on the street, basically, which would tax the resources. Now, there are other parts throughout the country where you will have what are called UACs, unaccompanied alien children, that will be put in a facility, and that's run by the federal government, by HHS. We don't have any responsibility for that. But my understanding is this would be potentially just releasing people into our society. And understand, when someone's just coming across the border, we have no idea, what their background is. We don't know what type of criminal activity they've been involved in. We don't know anything about anything. That's not how our immigration system works. I mean, for 120 years, when you came in, you were checked for health. You were checked for, are you going to be a public charge? All these different things, and that's how it's worked. So this would, I think, cause a lot of stress on our communities. Well, we have to go through, sign the bills that we're going to sign and veto the bills that we're not. As you know, I've signed a number of significant pieces of legislation. I did veto the preemption bill on the plastic straws, just because I think if communities want to do that, I don't think it impacts my agenda. We're going to do the budget. We're going through that right now, looking at all the various line items. I think the budget came in at $91.1 billion. When we sign it and get through the vetoes, it will be less than $91.1 billion. And so we're going through all that now. We just did, this week, we did the 33rd Annual Governor's Hurricane Conference in West Palm Beach, and I went for that. And we had just concluded a major exercise, and the exercise for this year was a Category 5 storm hitting in the Tampa Bay area. And that's a worst case scenario that we're trying to prepare for. Obviously, I don't want any hurricanes, but when you start doing that and you realize hurricane season's coming up, we obviously could potentially have issues if that happens. Now, hopefully, given that we've had hurricanes the last 3 years, I'm hoping that we get a respite. But that's something that we're going to be preparing for, and it's important.
Governor, what's your thinking on the toll road bill? Environmental groups are urging you to veto it.
I think we need new roads in Florida to get around. It's a bill that I'll support and sign, particularly Southwest Florida into Central Florida. Right now, you have to go all the way around 75. It's not a good route. To have a more direct route there, I think would be good. Completing the Suncoast Parkway, I think would give another route to places like Tallahassee and Northwest Florida, particularly from Central Florida. And so I think that that's something that's good. We're probably going to need more than that, just given how our state's growing and just given that traffic can be a big problem. And so I I'm supportive of infrastructure.
Last question, Governor, back to immigration. Why do you think South Florida was selected as that site?
Well, so let me just say, the idea that South Florida was selected is something that leaked out. I'm not even sure that is fully the case. So I don't know, and I think you'll just have to ask the folks, whoever contacted the law enforcement and how that happened within the agencies. But bottom line is, it doesn't matter South Florida, Central Florida, Northeast Florida. Florida, we have a lot of fish to fry in our own state with our own citizens. I mean, we got 22 million people. You know, we've had a good session with education funding. We've done a lot of good healthcare reforms. We did a lot on environment. And so we're really focused on, you know, using the resources we have to help the quality of life of Floridians, and to just be, you know, put on the hook for things that really are a result of the Congress's failure and failed policy at the federal level. That is not acceptable, and so we'll be leaning in whatever we need to do on this. But obviously, you know, I'm sensitive to the fact that if you're elected sheriff of a county, you know, you got elected by the citizens of your county, and that's who you're serving. You can't be expected to start serving thousands of other folks brought in unlawfully from a foreign country. So we want to just keep our eye on the ball, and let's try to make Florida as best as we can. Thank you, guys.